Hi, my dearest viewers. This is Vasilina Orlova with you again. And today I would like to talk to you about the differences between coaching and mental health counseling. As you know, I'm one of those people, one of those transgressors, one of those highly dubious personages who are trying to acquire both professions simultaneously, which is tricky. And I'm doing my master's in mental health counseling, and I simultaneously offer the coaching services. So I've been reading about it quite a bit. Sorry, trying to adjust the light so that you can see my eyes. And I turned on this recording to share some of the thoughts. I know there's a lot of skepticism about coaching, particularly coaching that is provided by mental health counselors. And I am here to say that I share the skepticism. Why I share the skepticism is because coaching right now is not a regulated profession. There are no state-issued licenses for coaches. I'm sure they will come into being. But right now, there are no professional organizations and the oversee committees and so on and so on who are able to tell a coach, oh, what you're doing is unethical and therefore you should not be doing it, or you are risking your license because there are no licenses for coaches. And I actually think that there will be those licenses sooner or later. There will be due robust and necessary overviewing committees, the understanding common for the profession what kind of ethics they are using. I think that one of the thoughts that one of my mental health counselors, counseling professors shared that was new to me and that was very interesting is that, of course, the other side of coaching is that the absences of those licenses is that you are therefore not protected. For example, if there is a lawsuit against you, right, there is no insurance really unless you're a member of a professional association, and even then, how much does that insurance really cover? There is no kind of guilt, sort of, how to call it, there is no profession behind you, right? There is no institution that stands behind you and that says, oh, you did everything ethically, for example, right? Still, why do I think that coaching and mental health counseling are two different things? I think that however blurry the boundaries are, or could be in the actual practice when they shouldn't be. When people search for the services of a coach, they know that they are not searching for the services of mental health counseling. I think part of it is that we understand that mental health counseling is clinical specialty. It's something that is dealing with diagnosing people. It's something that is dealing with symptoms. It's something that is taking on sort of serious issues and that is working to better the life of the people with these issues. Now, of course, everybody can be tapped into in a way that we will discover, okay, this person can be sad, or this person has some sort of OCD, or this person has some sort of anxiety, or they have social problems, they are not that socially trained, or they're depressed, right? We can all tap into this layer of things. Now, what do you do with that if that happens and you are a coach? I think to be on the safe side, you are referring these people to a mental health counseling professional. You are not treating them as a mental health counselor, because either you are not in possession of those skills, or even if you are, you can't be legally treating them for that, because you are, for instance, not licensed in the area, or something to that effect, right? Circumstances would preclude you from giving them mental health counseling services that you would normally to your mental health counseling clients. So I think this is the line that might be difficult to observe, because, for instance, if you are doing things like academia, or decluttering, or unlocking creativity in writing and art, which is something that I'm trying to be doing, you might encounter the deeper sort of layer behind that, and something that is more than about writing itself, right? For example. Or if you're doing decluttering, some things can be inspiring memories in you, and some of these memories may be traumatic. And from one point, you do not stop the person from going into this direction. But from the other point, you do stop yourself from going into this direction with them. And you are kind of drawing the line that you need mental health counseling services, but I cannot provide them to you. And then you can refer this person and be safe. That's what I think currently. I think that mental health counseling is a very wonderful profession. And yes, I agree with those who say that everything that coaches can do, mental health counselors can also do. For example, um, uh, for example, um, there is this idea that coaching is directed into the future, and counseling or therapy is directed into the past. You are unlocking your past experiences, your traumas, your wounds, your scars, and you're working through them. And by virtue of paying attention to them, you are becoming healed from some of this pain that they may still be causing you. And that makes sense. However, there is nothing that says that mental health counseling cannot be also about the future. And putting the goals that are the life goals with which life coaches may be working, for example. However, again, there is no division right now. So I'm saying that you can critique this idea that there is a difference between counseling and coaching based on whether it's focusing on the past or on the future. However, again, people who are seeking coaching, they are not seeking mental health counseling. That's the thing that creates this market. That's the thing that creates this profession potentially. That's the thing that is generative, you know? Yes, so I think for me, coaching is just more instrumental. It's just more about doing these concrete things. For example, writing, right? My probably favorite direction so far that I'm doing. I don't even have to call it coaching. But at the same time, when I called myself a developmental editor, people don't know what it is, and they're not really interested in it, even though it's similar. And again, developmental editing is like you actually edit stuff. You do ask the questions to the writer, what is it, where they're wanting to take their work, but still you're editing the text. And for writing coach, it is actually not a requirement. I was in the class of wonderful writer Kathleen Stewart in my anthropology department, who I consider a writer, maybe even a poet, first, and then anthropologist. Then I don't know if she would agree with that, but don't tell her that. So she had this marvelous way of doing things, which is she actually advised me this book by Peter Elbow, Writing Without Teachers, that I already mentioned to you. But she did a great thing in her seminars. She would ask us to write a short text, like a paragraph or two, come to her session. She's an emerita now. That's not accessible to anybody anymore. That was fantastic. And like she made us read it to each other. And we read it aloud, so nobody had to like break their eyes against the text, and we discussed it in the group. And it was marvelous. Call it call it an anthropology seminar. Usually it was also high on theory. It had a lot of theoretical works, for instance, about infrastructure, right? But not in this concrete way, but in a way where infrastructure inspires your feelings, the effect of infrastructure, whatever, effective infrastructure, something we all, I think, were completely fascinated with. How the materiality inspires your feelings. So you can call it that, or you can call it coaching. You may call it counseling, actually, because at some points, like people were crying in these seminars. They were recalling past, experiences of trauma and abuse. They were like pouring essentially their heart into writing. And that's normal because that's what writers do. That's what writers do. So I don't think that when you are a writing coach, you have to shut that down either. You can still work through it somehow, but always trailing the line and hoping that you will be able to catch if the person needs mental health counseling. Because as a coach, again, you do have power to make it even a condition. If somebody needs mental health counseling and they refuse to go to a mental health counselor or a therapist, right, employ somebody who will be able to provide them the services that they need, you can make it a condition of your coaching services. You can say like, okay, you don't want to uh, employ somebody who will be able in a position to help you. Well, I cannot provide the services unless you do it. Yes, so as a coach, I am sending to people a contract outlining the nature of our engagement. And in this contract, I am saying that if you need a mental health counseling engagement, I will direct you in that direction. So that is the way how I'm currently protecting myself, hoping it will be enough. Reflecting a lot on the topic, I read the International Coaching Federation's Code of Ethics, and I am planning to become a member of International Coaching Federation. However, you do nowadays have to have 60 hours of training to become a member from the institutions that they recognize. And I'm looking forward to getting this training. I have also become a member of the American Counseling Association before my practicum starts in 3 weeks, and I'm very excited for that practicum. Maybe by the time I upload this video, it will not be 3 weeks anymore. It will be less than 3 weeks. I have just completed my first year of mental health counseling, clinical mental health counseling program. I learned so much in the course of this program. It was tremendous. I learned how to conduct the counseling sessions, how to listen to people, theories to apply, techniques to apply, the principles that you will use in those sessions. Some of these principles are going to become my second nature. I think I am going to take some of the skills wherever I go, in any conversation with people. And to these skills, I would categorize this way the skill of staying with the story. If somebody is telling you the story, you have the ability to stay with it or change topics. And if you don't change topics, there are possibilities that new things are going to be opening to you. Yes, so listening that I learned, it actually even impacted my relationships with my friends. I think I am becoming a better listener. I always thought of myself as a better listener. But after I recorded those counseling sessions that we had in our program that were necessary to record, and I did a transcript of one of those recordings, I realized that there is a special skill to kind of not directing somebody in a way where they don't want to go, perhaps. So counseling gives you, of course, much more power over the course of the conversation because you don't have the limits on where you can lead it. I mean, you have to have a supervisor, you have to talk about it, you have to think about it, you take notes and so on and so on. But basically, counseling session has the ability to take the person, or you have the ability to take the person to the roots of what bothers them. So this is a very powerful kind of engagement. And yes, this kind of engagement, I think, shouldn't happen in coaching because the dangers are just too great. You don't know when you're coaching somebody if they are scoring high on anxiety or on depression, or they have suicidal thoughts. You are not here to assess them on that. And they might still have these problems, right? So if you are getting something like that, you do have to refer them out immediately. And I think that hopefully that will work for me. I am still hoping to provide writing coaching and academia coaching and the coaching of decluttering if I have this chance, if people are interested. However, again, I am interested in dating coaching, in relationship coaching. Again, I am looking forward to getting some training in this area in order to acquire a better understanding of how coaching is really different from counseling. I said that it is different, but people struggle to define it. And that's understood because coaching is a lot of things, but counseling is also a lot of things. So I'm not subscribing to the idea that coaching is about the future and is action oriented and counseling is not, because counseling is also about the future, or it could be and is action oriented. However, I do feel that there is a difference. I define it for myself as the depth of engagement right now, but I don't know. I'll acquire more information, and when I do, I'll share it with you. So thank you so much for being here. Really enjoy that my videos get your views. I really appreciate it. You have a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.